My sister made me wear her old bridesmaid dress to the company gala. She went absolutely insane when the CEO asked me to dance all night. The moment Veronica's champagne glass shattered against the ballroom floor, I knew 3 years of carefully constructed lies were about to unravel. In front of 400 people, she was standing 15 feet away from me, her face twisted into something I'd never seen before, not even during our worst childhood fights. Pure, unfiltered rage, the kind that makes rational people do irrational things. And there I was, frozen on the dance floor, in her old lavender bridesmaid dress that she'd sworn would make me invisible, with the CEO of Whitmore Industries still holding my hand from the waltz we'd just finished. His name was Julian Ashford, and according to my sister, he was supposed to be hers. Tonight, the orchestra stopped playing. 400 heads turned toward the sound of breaking glass, and my sister, the woman who'd spent 28 years convincing me I was nothing, finally showed everyone exactly who she really was. I'd been working at Whitmore Industries for 11 months when the annual gala was announced. Black tie required, +1s encouraged, attendance mandatory for anyone hoping to advance beyond entry-level positions. I was an analyst in the data operations division, buried 3 floors below the executive suites, invisible to anyone who mattered. My sister Veronica was a senior account manager who'd been with the company for 6 years. She'd climbed the ladder through strategic networking, and she never let me forget that I only got my job because she'd put in a good word with HR. What she failed to mention was that I'd graduated summa cum laude from a top business program and had been recruited by 2 other firms before she convinced me that Whitmore was where I belonged. She said we'd be a team. What she actually meant was that having me nearby would give her someone to control growing up. Veronica was always the star, 4 years older, effortlessly beautiful, socially magnetic, in ways I could never seem to replicate. Our parents adored her openly and loved me obligatorily, or at least that's how it felt. She was the one they photographed for holiday cards. She was the one they bragged about to relatives. I was the quiet one, the bookish one, the one who would hopefully grow into her looks someday. Veronica reinforced this hierarchy at every opportunity, always framing it as sisterly honesty. She'd tell me which colors washed me out, which hairstyles made my face look round, which boys were out of my league. By the time I was 25, I'd internalized her voice so completely that I didn't need her to criticize me anymore. I did it automatically. The gala was announced in October, and Veronica immediately began strategizing. She'd had her eye on Julian Ashford since he'd taken over as CEO 18 months earlier. Julian was 34, single, devastatingly handsome in that understated way that made people look twice without quite knowing why. More importantly, he was transforming the company, and everyone wanted to be close to him. Veronica was convinced the gala would be her moment. She'd spent 6 years building her reputation, positioning herself as indispensable. She talked about it constantly during our weekly dinners, analyzing Julian's preferences, his schedule, his past relationships. She studied him like a final exam. When I mentioned that I'd be attending the gala too, her expression flickered for just a moment before resetting into something that looked like concern. She came to my apartment 3 weeks before the event, supposedly to help me figure out what to wear. I'd been planning to buy something new, maybe a simple black dress that wouldn't draw attention, but would still look professional. Veronica walked through my closet with her lips pressed together. In that way, she had that silent judgment that somehow hurt more than actual words. Nothing here would work, she said finally. You'd look like you were trying too hard. She suggested I borrow something of hers instead, something that would blend in rather than stand out. She returned the next day with a garment bag containing a lavender bridesmaid dress from her friend's wedding 2 years earlier. Tea-length, modest neckline, slightly dated. In that way that screamed, hand me down. The color did nothing for my complexion. When I tried it on, I looked exactly the way she wanted me to look. Forgettable. She circled me slowly, nodding with satisfaction. This is perfect, she said. You don't want to attract the wrong kind of attention. The week before the gala, something strange happened. I was working late, finishing a report, when Julian Ashford himself walked into the break room where I was refilling my coffee. I'd seen him from a distance, plenty of times, but we'd never actually spoken. He was carrying an empty mug and looked exhausted. His tie loosened, sleeves rolled up. He nodded at me and reached for the coffee pot. We talked for 20 minutes, standing there by the coffee machine. And for those 20 minutes, I forgot to be self-conscious. I forgot that I was nobody important, talking to the most important person in the building. When he finally left, he said he hoped to see me at the gala. I made the mistake of mentioning this conversation to Veronica. Her reaction was immediate and visceral, a sharp intake of breath, followed by rapid-fire questions. What exactly did he say? How did he know your name? Were you flirting with him? And that's when I saw something in her eyes that made my blood run cold. Full story is linked below or on my channel.